Cheers, I do buckaroos. How the heck I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer for the purposes of this video. And we're going to try a new rye. Wheel horse rye. Will I say that? I actually had this a while back. Would have been a year ago, March. And I really liked it. I couldn't find it, and I found a store that had it in town, and it's clearance out. So anyway, it probably wouldn't have it for long. Yeah, believe it or not, Wheel Horse Rye, 101 non-chill filtered straight rye whiskey, made in Owensboro, Kentucky. Kentucky straight rye whiskey, Wheel Horse's Rye, crafted and matured at the historic Owensboro Distilling Company in Owensboro, Kentucky. As the 10th oldest permitted distillery in the state, Owensboro Distilling has a rich history that dates back to the late 1800s. Now the distillery continues its legacy of making excellent whiskey under the direction of master distiller Jacob Call, using a mash bill of 95% rye. Yeah, you heard that right, 95% rye, 5% malted barley, 5% malted barley. Wow. Wheel Horse Rye is distilled in copper stills, then matured in hand-selected 53-gallon charred American oak barrels for a minimum of 2 years. Like all of our whiskeys, Wheel Horse Rye is bottled without chill filtration, distilled in Kentucky, bottled by Latitude Beverage in Rumford, Rhode Island. Wheel Horse. Yeah, I remember enjoying it. So I've got some poured neat, and I've got some poured rocks, but it took me a while to get going, so a little more melted than I had hoped. So I'm gonna get right to it. I'm not even gonna check the. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I've been told by some, you don't check the nose when you're drinking rocks. Well, I do. I do. Now, if I was drinking rye and soda, nah, I probably wouldn't. If I was doing a highball out of it, I had a club soda, no, I wouldn't check the nose. But rocks, yeah, baby, yeah. One 101, wow. A 95% rye, though. Check that out. Oh, that is gorgeous, man. 5% malted barley, so no corn in here whatsoever. It is surprisingly sweet, though. It really is. You do have that nice rye bite, though. What's perfect for me, and you want to take another drink here. And I'll be able to speak to it a little more when I get to the neat. However, man, what I really like is the viscosity. The mouthfeel is just gorgeous here. Oh gosh. I'm dying to try this in a Manhattan. Yeah, baby, yeah. I'm dying to go Manhattan, man. Anyway, let's go to Manhattan, baby. Because I'm a little colorful today. Yeah, my daughter made me this shirt a while back. Back in July, I guess, and somehow I kind of forgot about it, so I just needed something comfortable to wear out here, so I put it on a tie-dye. This is, yeah, my daughter made this for me. Do you really feel that barrel in the finish? It is rather spicy. It really is. Yeah, that's good, man. Again, at 101, I am having it just neat. However, at this proof, I wouldn't fault folks for adding just a little bit of water if you would like. Because even, a lot of whiskey experts will tell you to do the same with a higher proof whiskey. Now, I wouldn't do this with an 80 proof. And I might not even do it with a 90, but anything over 100, I would say, yeah, if you want to put just a couple, 3 drops in there, that really opens up the nose. Oh, this is absolutely beautiful on the rocks, though. Very approachable at 101. And like I said earlier, I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to mix it. I don't think, and I talked about highball kind of jokingly, I wouldn't highball it. I think the quality is too good. But if you're in that kind of mood, and it's, if you paid for the bottle, do anything you want with it. I don't know that I will, but I might. Because we're heading away from the summer now. In the summer, I might think highball. But as we head into cooler temps, yeah, I'm thinking, thinking fall winter cocktails. I'm thinking Manhattan would be perfect here, and other versions of. I might old fashioned it, but I'm really thinking it would really adapt well to a Manhattan. Using my Tiyaki dog glass there. Oh man, that's good. Oh wow. Oh, that was different. Getting a lot of deep toffee on the nose. And I was picking up some chocolate notes there for a second. I'm really going, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Let me check that again. Let's go at this a different way. Let's go at this from a different angle, man. That can't be right. There's a very decadent, very warming nose. Gosh, that's delicious. Yeah, it is. I'm going to be clear. It is rather spicy. Some of that is the rye. That rye will give you some spice. However, there's a lot of spice from the barrel as well. Just wanted to be clear about that. Got this one fly I can't get rid of. Killed his friend earlier. Killed his buddy. Taking him to land on a flat spot where I can kill him though. Keeps landing near my camera. A little wily bastard knows what he's doing. Anyway, a wily little bastard. Anyways, cheers. Oh. It's cooling down for the weekend on us here. We're finally getting into some fall temps. But it's still warm enough for me to come out here in a t-shirt. It takes, I grew up in Southern California, so I'm not, I wasn't necessarily used to extreme cold, but it takes a little bit for me to get cold. There was my former coworkers who were about 30 years my junior would come into the office when it was about 60, in their heavy winter coats, and I'd still be wearing a t-shirt, or my bowling kind of shirts that I tend to wear. I almost got that bastard, just missed him. Yeah, again, I want to really stress about the viscosity, that mouthfeel. That is really gorgeous here. And again, it is 101 proof. And for me, it doesn't. Again, I've had friends tell me, or people I've casual acquaintance, people I've talked to at bars, will tell me anything over 80 proof is hot, and I cannot disagree with that statement more. I don't think it's the proof that makes it hot. I think it's the whiskey. Right, because I've had some at cast strength that I found very approachable. Just because it's a certain proof doesn't necessarily mean it's hot. It's how it drinks. It's my thoughts on the matter anyway. I don't think you can go by a specific proof. Because quality makes a difference, right? The ingredients, how it's distilled, I think all of that comes into play. Oh man, that is just freaking gorgeous. That's brilliant, man. I really like it. Yeah, I won't have one today, but well, I might have one later today. I'm not gonna lie to you. Maybe after dinner, because that's kind of an after dinner drink. Might have a Manhattan. Not gonna have one right away, but. Uh, But I just got this and I was dying to try it, and I didn't have a rye opened at this particular moment. I had a period last year where, I mean, me being mostly a bourbon guy, all of a sudden I started finding myself buying rye after rye after rye. And it was right about that last year in March, we went to Columbia, Missouri, and I found myself buying some stuff out there that I can't get here. And it seemed at one point I had 12 bottles of whiskey, and 8 of them were rye. You know, okay. All right then. Yeah, I didn't expect to have that many ryes, but I've kind of worked through them. Now I've got mostly bourbons again. And I just finished off, or last weekend I finished off the last rye I had open, so I decided I'd open this one up for this weekend. Because there are some sticklers, right? There are those folks, those stick in the muds, that think you have to make a Manhattan with a rye. Uh, Is it traditional? Yeah, but do you have to? No, it's your cocktail. Make it any way you want to. I personally like a rye in a Manhattan. I mean, like a bourbon in a Manhattan as well. However, the caveat for me is that yeah, it has to be a traditional bourbon. It has to be a bourbon that uses rye as a secondary grain. Wheated bourbon doesn't work in a Manhattan. It's too sweet. You can use it in an old fashioned if you like, but for me, that's just too sweet as well. So I've got a lot of friends that love to use Buffalo Trace in a Manhattan because it does make a softer drink. Um, but for me, it's too sweet because you've got sweet whiskey and you're adding simple syrup. It just for me, it's just too sweet. But it really it's again, it's up to your taste buds. I never tell anybody how they should make their drink in their own house. You'll see posts on social media. Somebody will say something about how they, hey, it's their liquor. It's their liquor. Let them drink it any way you want to. I mean, my only caveat to that is if you're at somebody else's house and they offer you a particular whiskey in a certain way, you need to drink it that way, right? If they hand you some whiskey neat, don't ask if you could put soda pop in it because that's just freaking rude. Just turn them down. If you can't drink it the way they recommend, because it is their whiskey and you're in their house, right? When you're in your house, drink your whiskey any way you want to. But if you're at somebody else's house, yeah, you ought to be a little polite and not be an asshat. It's my thoughts on the matter anyway. That's how I just feel about it, okay? Uh, I get a lot of these. I'm torn. In actuality, I'm torn between saying caramel and toffee because I feel like I'm getting both notes at different points in the drink. Because I can usually tell a distinct difference between caramel seems a little creamier, toffee's a little more decadent, a little richer. But at different points in the drink, I feel like I feel like I'm going from toffee to a deep, dark, almost burnt sugar caramel. Spice, I feel like I get a nice mix of baking spice, right? I feel like I get a little allspice, a little cinnamon, a little hint of clove as well. It is very warm. It is very spicy. But as you can see, I mean, it is, again, at 101 proof, it is rather approachable. You're seeing me make no face whatsoever. I mean, this stuff is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, some might refer to a whiskey like this as a label whiskey, right? And I don't know. It just kind of depends on where you're coming from. But they're very open about where it's distilled uh, and where it's bottled. It is a distilled in Kentucky, and that is a distinction they're obviously trying to make. They're not trying to hide anything, but they are bottled by a Latitude Beverage Company in Rhode Island. So somebody is making this product for them, and they're slapping a label on it. But that being said, how are you? That's why I love sitting out here in my pub because people walk by and walking their dogs and talk to me. Anyways, I digress. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, man. All right, good guy. Cheers.